All right, so this is my fresh reaction video from watching Invincible season 3, episode 1. And so far, so good. I definitely enjoyed getting back into the world, being able to see Mark and everyone. It looks like they definitely fast forwarded things from how they ended in the previous season and wrapped up a couple of things. We got to see some characters that I was looking forward to seeing, particularly light spoiler, not really. Multi-Paul shows up, which, I mean, Multi-Paul's his name, so definitely one of my favorite characters. And the plot line with Doc Seismic and what he does is awesome too, because for whatever reason, I just quite enjoy Doc Seismic and his ridiculousness. So definitely enjoyed that aspect of the show. And yeah, just general thoughts and reactions so far. I think it's a good first episode. They're taking the time to plant the seeds that they want to plant for the season that are already there, which is really, really good, particularly making sure they sprinkle in the Omni-Man plotline and what's going on there, and also the plotline with Oliver, and then the other situation with, what's his name? The dude, Cecil, yeah. So I haven't watched any trailers, by the way, for anyone sees this. I've seen like one image or two, the image of Mark about to fight Cecil. So I knew that was brewing at some point. I didn't realize it would happen so quickly within the first episode. But ultimately, yeah, going in completely blind almost into this season, completely naked, no trailers, nothing, just going in and experiencing it. It's how I like to watch my stuff. I don't like to get into trailers just because oftentimes they reveal too much and then you're kind of waiting for and expecting the thing. Now, I have seen some stuff that I know I'm expecting to happen at some point just from information from the comic. But other than that, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. One of the things that kept popping up in this episode in particular was secrets, and how it seems as though a bunch of different characters were keeping secrets and had to open up about those secrets in whatever way possible. So that would be with Mark, Cecil, Mark's younger brother, forgetting his name right now. So yeah, it seems like secrets are coming back in season 3. I know they're a big role. They played a big role in season 1 and somewhat season 2, actually. I think they're definitely around throughout the series. So I'm interested in sort of seeing what it is that, they're trying to say here. I noticed with Mark and his secrets that he's one of the few characters that actually revealed a secret in the episode. The other ones were, I guess, discovered. And all of it went badly, to be honest. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they do and what's going to happen with this season. I'm excited for it. I'm about to hop right into episode 2. Probably gonna eat some food first and then, yeah, check out episode 2. Give my reaction to that as well. So see you guys on the other side. All right, just got done with episode 2 of season 3 of Invincible. So this is my quick reaction. I'm still here watching all the episodes, and man, episode 2 so far is my favorite episode of the season. Definitely a step up from the first season. I'll start off by saying Cecil was right. And what I mean is there was a argument seemingly at play here between Cecil and Mark on whether or not certain criminals could possibly be reformed. But in this case, it was whether or not they should even be given the chance to reform and to sort of own up for what they've done and be able to redeem themselves through, good action. And so far, I think that question is going to run through this series. It's definitely an early theme in the show. And I definitely think that Mark is wrong. So much so that I actually think the writers also know that he's wrong and are writing him in that way for an eventual arc this season. So if that's the case, I think that's wonderful. It's great when you have your main characters being wrong and having to discover things. There's that rift between the Guardians and them breaking up, and how all of the older members with more experience seem to have wanted to stay, and all the younger and more immature members reacted as a young, immature person would in those situations, and again, thought that Cecil was 100% in the wrong and wanted to leave. So I thought that was quite interesting. And yeah, I want to see how they explore this a little more. I have a feeling that they're going to use certain circumstances and situations in Mark's life for him to come to the realization that he was wrong about Cecil or about someone being able to reform. I won't necessarily say how I think they're going to do that because that will be spoilers, potentially spoilers, but hey, I'm sort of predicting what I think they will do here. In my spoiler specific review that I'll do and drop sometime next week, I can go a bit more into that. If you guys want, just leave some comments and yeah, I can talk about it. But essentially, again, the first few episodes here are all set up, right? And they're setting up a lot of good pieces in episode 1 and episode 2, and we already had some things pop off in episode 2 when it comes to things like the Guardians breaking up or Peter and Mary Jane getting together. I mean, yeah, Mark and Eve getting together. So yeah, I'm excited for what's to come in this episode. I'm really looking forward to episode 3 here and seeing where it heads. So let's get into it. I'm about to watch episode 3. See you guys on the other side. Oh, and Cecil was fire. Cecil was fire this episode. All right, so just got done with my first few episodes of Invincible season 3. So just finished season 3, episode 3. And so far for episode 3, I would say it was probably my least favorite of the 3. As to why, I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna watch it later on with my wife, get my thoughts going, kind of get an idea what's going on. But yeah, I didn't like that episode as much. I felt like the momentum built from that second episode was nice. And then there seems to be an issue with the pacing in that they're almost taking too much time with what they want to do this season. The plot doesn't seem to be moving forward yet, at least not much. It's moving very, very slowly. Like they showed that clip of Omni-Man with, what's his name? Alan, that kind of went nowhere because it was irrelevant for the last 2 episodes, which then means why even show it in that episode, especially if you're planning on showing these 3 episodes now. I mean, it's okay if you want to plant the seed for later in the season, but I don't know. It feels like, yes, they're laying groundwork for things and setting things up, but the pacing isn't moving right. And I will say, particularly in this episode, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see where it goes, but I don't necessarily see, what they were doing in terms of what they were potentially looking to set up. I could be wrong. This could be a vital episode to set things up. And we did have some things that happened in the previous episode that were pretty big, so it makes sense to slow things down a little bit. But yeah, I think that what made the first, or at least the second episode work, was that was built up and released with Mark and Cecil, and some of that was set up within that first episode and lingering there. And then just with this episode in particular, I don't know. With this episode, it just seems like we're just figuring things out. I know that there's the end credit stinger with Engstrom and what's potentially going to happen with that. But honestly, it almost felt like a filler episode. And that's unfortunate because I'm really looking forward to what they do here and what they're looking to bring together. But yeah, this honestly felt like a filler episode. So hopefully next week's a bit better and things improve, because again, this is my favorite show on TV, so I'm hoping things are better. But yeah, I don't know about episode 3 and sort of how it went. We'll see how things improve. I would still probably recommend the first few episodes in terms of watching it, but depending on how the season goes, this may legitimately be a skippable episode in terms of episode 3. But they're all out now, so you may as well watch all 3. And I would still recommend watching Invincible season 3. Yeah, it's just a lot to think about, and who knows, my thoughts might be different later on after my second or third viewing. Next week I will be releasing my overall review of each of the episodes and kind of walking through them. I really and truly do think though that of the 3, episode 2 was by far the best, but this is just my reaction to episode 3, and honestly a bit underwhelmed. I'm happy to have seen the Mahler twins. I definitely missed them. And it was nice what they did with sort of Oliver and him opening up and asking those questions in regards to killing and sort of the hypocrisy that he brings up with Mark. Those things are interesting and cool. The problem is that the conversations and the way they were brought up were too clunky and too on the nose that it was like, it just didn't read right. It's like when you're watching something and it's trying to hammer home a point to you, an agenda of some sort, whatever it is, right? And in this case, they're trying to hammer home this idea of killing, not killing, and what that means, and just all the details surrounding that. And Mark is significantly on this path of, oh, you should not kill, it's not right to kill. Meanwhile, he's already killed in the past. So it's really, they're exploring that. But so far, yes, they are using a child in Oliver, so the dialogue can get a bit clunky, but yeah, it just doesn't seem right so far. So we'll see where they go with it. I definitely understand, why they probably went this direction. Once we get into more spoilers next week, we can get into that. But yeah, so far, it's all good. I'm looking forward to the upcoming episodes, what happens next. And I still do believe that this can be the best of the 3 seasons. But man, do they have to bring in that outer space plotline at some point and yeah, bring the gang back together. But we'll see. We'll see where they go with this and where they end up ending the season. I'm gonna get back to work here, but this is my reaction of Invincible Season 3, Episode 3. Peace. All right, so this will be my final thoughts on Invincible Season 3 for the first 3 episodes. Okay, so based upon how they were able to execute, specifically Episode 2, all the details regarding Cecil and what's being done there, that tells me that there's hope and there's faith that the bigger plot points and the bigger things that are expected to happen this season, that I won't spoil in this clip, they're going to be able to execute on. Specifically how they handled Episode 2 tells me that this is going to be the best season of Invincible yet. And yeah, I'm going to flat out say it. Despite, not having much Omni-Man yet, I do believe that they're going to be able to execute very well these next few episodes. So go watch it.